Between a dozen and 2 dozen maybe people who must have fair knowledge of what happened, why it happened, where it happened, and all those things.
Suzanne Breen says the IRA members she met also confirmed that the South Armagh leadership knew all about the murder of Gerry Evans.
He said this wasn't the action of a handful of renegades or people acting independently of the South Armagh leadership. He said that people in South Armagh who would stand shoulder to shoulder with Gerry Evans when he comes to the area knew the full details of Gerry Evans' abduction and murder, and he said that some of those people actually took part in Gerry Evans' execution, but this was unauthorised action by the IRA in South Armagh. This wasn't just something done by a handful of individuals acting independently.
The Armstrong's struggle has also been long. All Souls Day last year was a time for the families of the disappeared to remember their dead and remind the world. Charlie Armstrong's widow, Kathleen, says she has no desire to know who killed him or why. At this point, she only wants his funeral.
It's something that she's going to take to her grave with her, and I'd like to see him fine before that. I really do. I want to see her have a grave to go to and to have a bit of peace. That's all I want, just a grave to go to now. I don't want anything, don't want to know anything, only just to find his remains. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, what we went through for 27 years. And it's still the same, as fresh in our memory as it was the day he went away.
The Armstrongs' struggle to get information about Charlie was hindered, not only by a wall of silence in South Armagh, but little help from the authorities. 15 years passed before Gardaí told the family that gunshot residue had been found in Charlie's abandoned car.
Anytime I went to check about it with the different guards, everyone I met didn't know anything about it. I'd have to wait till someone else would come in, and every time you'd have to tell your story from scratch again, over and over and over. There was no file, no record, no nothing. The police, once on a blue moon, either ring or call. You didn't really want to see the police calling at your house, but they would just say this is still on file, and that's all was about it.
A dramatic development came in 2001. The Armstrongs received a letter, apparently giving directions to where Charlie Armstrong's body could be found.
It just said, sorry to write this now, or sorry to cause you more heartache, but Charlie is buried here, and it showed the map, and it showed the area, and an X where he was. It was totally out of the blue.
The note took the family to a remote spot over the border in County Monaghan, which is a short drive away from the Armstrong home in Crossmaglen. A team of Gardaí spent 10 days clearing the site using a single digger.
We weren't happy about that. We felt there was a lot of the area wasn't covered. At that time they just went in with a digger and would just scoop it up, shake it out, and if anything turned up, it turned up.
The Armstrongs were so desperate for progress, they spent 18 months arranging their own dig.
Couldn't leave it at that. We couldn't leave it hanging in the air. We just felt he was in there. We were after getting information he was there, and we couldn't stop. We had to, even if we were to go in on our hands and knees, we were determined we were going to find him. If he was there, we would find him.
What were the conditions like in there?
It was muck, gutters, everything you could think of, sinking down in dog holes, water up to your knees, water rats, water eel. It was just horrendous. There was no other word for it.
After 5 days, the Armstrongs were beaten back by the unforgiving bog.
Just got too much for us. Now, we were here from 8 in the morning until most evenings 8 in the evening. It got dark, but it was just getting too much. We felt going in that maybe we had a better chance if we went in on our own without guards or anyone with us, that someone would come to us and say, look, you're looking in the wrong direction, or go to the right, go to the left, but no one come near us. And we just, after 5 days, we couldn't take it anymore. I've just had to stop.
But more anonymous information did come last year, directing the Commission to a site a short distance from where Gardaí dug in 2002. A section of land was cleared, but the forensic surveys revealed nothing of note.
I can't blame them for looking back in. They have no, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. Unless they get more information to be able to pinpoint exactly in that area where he is, it is a waste of manpower, time and money.
The silence of South Armagh descended again on the Armstrongs, but the family says it has always understood why people are reluctant to talk.
You knew deep down people that would want to help you and were afraid to help. You can forgive them because you grew up in that atmosphere yourself. You knew exactly what they were feeling. But there's still that blanket of fear that's on people, and it's inbred in them that they're afraid to talk.
Several years ago, Anna received phone threats because of the campaign to find her father's body. But the Armstrongs have remained dignified and consoled themselves with visits to Charlie's search sites.
We thought we could find him then, but we didn't. So we made this place more or less a place for to come and pray for him.
This is where the Commission came to search for the body of Charlie Armstrong. Now, while nothing was found, investigators say there is compelling reason to believe his remains are somewhere nearby. The silence of decades can be difficult to break, especially among people who have built new lives.
One of the issues we've come across is that people were involved in the Republican movement, in fact, members of the Republican movement in the 1780s, and now perhaps our pillars of society and have severed their links with the organisation.
The chief investigator says that when the years of mystery are finally brought to a close, it's not just the families who gain.
I do know for a fact that some people involved find it a cathartic process. They are getting great personal relief from the process.
For Margaret McKinney, the process ended here with the discovery of her son's body across the border from South Armagh. The site is just a few hundred yards from where the Commission believes Charlie Armstrong is buried.
It's nice to be back down here again, you know, and it's so peaceful, just so peaceful here, and so thank God anyway, I know where he is now.
Margaret says the recovery of her son's body has given her the closure that's still denied to the other families.
We've got our lives back together now, we've got Brian, and I'm just hoping and praying to God that the other families will soon be at peace too.
The next step for the Evans and Armstrongs is a poster campaign in South Armagh, seeking information.
All it is 2 pictures of Jerry and my father, reminding people of what they look like, that they're not just a name, and also using the confidential number, and hoping that people will take heed of that number and use it, and give us the help we need.
10 years ago, those posters may not have stayed up.
Well, I'm hoping they will stay up this time. 10 years ago, you wouldn't have even thought of putting up a poster. You never would have, no one would have even let you put up a poster. You wouldn't have wanted to try to do that. Now, we're at the piece here, and it's not, the posters aren't going to harm anyone. They're only there for us to get some more help if possible.
It's a bizarre situation to be living in, that the man, like, he's been missing longer now than he was alive. So it's, you know, it's things like that you're trying to strike home to people, that we're not out looking for anything at all. It's just a personal journey we want to do, and we want to get it finished.
No one, unless they've come through it, can really understand what a family goes through. It's like an ongoing wake. It's like something that there never seems to be an end to. There never will be an end to until his body.